This is the story of Ringo, the massive African lion who lived far from his homeland on European soil, where he suffered from mistreatment and hunger. His wild instincts were suppressed inside a small cage for years, and loneliness became his only companion. This lion's eyes had never seen the lands of his ancestors since his birth. His poor condition and frail appearance caught the attention of authorities, leading to a swift and risky rescue mission. Thanks to this operation, the great cat finally experienced the beauty of his natural homeland in a difficult and thorny journey. It is a remarkable story that proves the power of the king of the savannah extends beyond his natural environment. Today, we dive into the story of Ringo to witness how he finally reached his original homeland in Africa, setting foot at last on the soil that had called to him since birth. Time: August 2008, somewhere in France. A French circus had been touring the country for decades, entertaining people and providing income for performers, using animals as part of their shows. It remains a mystery how these animals ended up in a European circus, though it's likely many were taken from the wild as cubs, even though France imposed strict laws on the use of animals in entertainment. Back in 2007, wild animals were kept far from their natural homes. A lioness mated with a lion, and in August 2008, 2 cubs were born. Only one survived. That survivor was named Ringo, a young lion who grew up in a traveling cage, moving from town to town, learning to perform tricks like the trained lions before him. Performances took place under bright lights and loud applause, but none of it could hide the deep sadness inside Ringo. It was as if he knew this was not his place, a feeling of not belonging that he was forced to accept as the only surviving cub. Ringo was raised in isolation to prevent the other big cats from killing him. This solitude made him used to loneliness and extremely aggressive toward other animals. He was trained alone, confined to his own cage. At first, this worked, but as the years passed, Ringo's aggression and size became unmanageable. His cage soon became far too small for a lion of his size. The circus managers realized this, but lacked the money to buy a larger enclosure. Without it, authorities might intervene and seize their star attraction, so they postponed the purchase, not making it a priority. One day, during an inspection, Ringo's cage was tied to a vehicle and driven away so the inspectors wouldn't see him trapped in such a small space. Since this trick worked, they kept doing it for years. Ringo never got the larger cage he desperately needed. Instead, he remained confined in a cramped area with barely enough room to move. Eventually, Ringo developed bruises and injuries from staying in the same position too long. As the circus's finances worsened, food for the big cats was rationed, causing them to lose significant weight by 2012. The end of live circus performances made things even worse financially. The owners turned to streaming their shows online, which led viewers to file reports with French authorities describing the shocking conditions of the starving, thin animals. During a surprise inspection, all the animals were seized, including Ringo. He was found extremely thin, injured, and locked in a cage far too small for his massive body. The circus was fined and banned from keeping any animals. The rescued creatures were sent to various zoos and wildlife sanctuaries. Ringo, despite his poor appearance, was still a fierce and unsocial lion feared by everyone. He had to be sedated before being moved, a dangerous process since his weak body might not survive the tranquilizer. But there was no other choice. He posed a serious threat to the staff. Despite all his pain and the wild rage trapped inside him, Ringo's true journey was just beginning. For the first time, his eyes would see his ancestral homeland, and his spirit would be freed among vast, open plains. At first, Ringo was sent to a shelter in Belgium. There, his suffering and years of harsh training were finally revealed. His scars were deep, and veterinarians also found burn marks on his body. He stayed in the shelter for nearly a year, receiving treatments, vitamins, and thorough medical care. His tragic story deeply moved the staff, who learned of the miserable life he had endured in such unsuitable conditions. By 2020, Ringo had reached 12 years of age, an age at which lions in the wild are often considered to be near the end of their lives. But in the safety of the shelter, he was given a few more years to live peacefully under the care of veterinarians who provided him with a calm, safe home. After fully recovering and regaining his majestic appearance, a plan was made to send Ringo back to Africa. Many thought this was madness. After all, he had never lived in the wild and didn't know how to hunt. Such a move could easily cost him his life. However, in South Africa, there exists an organization called the Drakenstein Lion Park, a sanctuary that specializes in rescuing abused big cats. This was the place Ringo was sent to. The journey was not easy, covering more than 10,000 kilometers, but the skilled team and the generous donations made his relocation possible. In 2021, for the first time, the fierce lion tasted freedom. Though his space was still fenced, it was vast and filled with life. To Ringo, it meant everything. He had never known such care before. He finally had wide-open ground to roam, a sight he had never experienced in his life, only the dull walls of a cage. He was given a large enclosure with plenty of food and water. According to his caretakers, Ringo ate between 4 and 6 chickens a day, along with 3 generous servings of beef 3 times a week to help him regain full strength and weight. Ringo eventually regained his magnificent appearance. At around 16 years old, he weighed 250 kilograms and was in excellent health for his age. Like the other big cats at Drakenstein Lion Park, he ate 3 to 4 times a week. The park, established in 1998, is dedicated to rescuing lions from all forms of human cruelty. The park relies on donations and runs a website showing the lions in their care, explaining how people can help. Located in South Africa's beautiful Cape Winelands, it is open to visitors, especially during feeding times, allowing the public to see the quality of food given to the cats. Ringo's story ended happily. Despite his age, it is believed that under such good care in captivity, he still has a few more years to enjoy the land of his ancestors. He has finally freed himself from the suffering he endured for so long. Though some scars remain as reminders of his past, Ringo overcame them with strength, resilience, and an unbreakable will to live. In the African savannah, where silence can be shattered by a roar that echoes for miles, where there is no room for retreat, no option but to fight. In this place, brutality becomes the primary rule for survival. The lions come to hunt, to kill, and to dominate. They are nature's war machines, built to rule with claws and fangs. But among them, there exists a different kind. A lion that does not fight merely to survive, but lives to dominate, to destroy, and to instill fear. Known among lions for their distinctive appearance and dark manes, they are called the black-maned lions, or mana negra, the most dangerous lions in the African continent. They are more than just beasts with a terrifying appearance. Their dark manes are a biological signal of immense strength, of extremely high testosterone levels, and of uncontrollable rage. Wherever they pass, blood dries fast, herds scatter, cubs disappear, and even other predators hesitate to confront them. Yet they are few, becoming rarer with each passing day. Still, one of them is enough to change the entire landscape, whether as a visitor or a conqueror, as if the savannah itself acknowledges the arrival of a tyrant. In this episode, we will explore the most ruthless and ferocious type of lions ever recorded in Africa. So, brace yourself for the savage rhythm ahead. Let's begin. Today, the sun burns harsher than ever. The soil is dry and cracked. Survival is a battle that begins before sunrise. Across the barren borders of the Kalahari Desert in the highlands of Ethiopia and deep in the scorching savannas of South Africa, they walk, silent, powerful, and deliberate. This is no home for ordinary lions. This is the kingdom of the black-maned lions, the mana negra. Mana refers to the dark strip of hair running along the back of a male lion's mane. The darker it is, the more dominant the lion. And when it turns completely black, beware. You are facing a feline demon. Unlike their more common kin, these lions carry more than just dark, thick hair on their necks. They carry a warning. The black mane is a symbol of resistance, dominance, and cruelty. Behind this dark color lies a troubling physiological truth. These lions produce exceptionally high levels of testosterone, and that changes everything. This hormone transforms them from hunters into tyrants and aggressors. Their muscles are denser, their instincts sharper, their hunger for territory insatiable. They don't just hunt, they conquer. They crush. They seek to own every inch of the savannah, every strong female ready to mate, every unsettled herd. Their presence is not only seen, it is felt. A tangible tension grips prey and rivals alike before the battle even begins. In combat, these lions never back down. Unlike other males who retreat to fight another day, the black-maned lions fight to the end. They do not care if death awaits. All they desire is the battle itself. Reports tell of deadly confrontations where black-maned lions fought until they went blind, bleeding from open wounds, yet continued attacking and roaring, calling their enemies to face them again. They do not accept defeat. This is what makes them both dangerous and fascinating. But what exactly causes this collapse of natural restraint? Why do these lions defy the laws of their own kind? The answer lies closer than it seems, in their genetic legacy, in a history soaked in blood, loss, and dominance. There is an ancient valley hidden in the heart of Tanzania, carved as if by the hands of an old legend. The Ngorongoro crater, a natural fortress formed by a volcanic explosion millions of years ago, rises like stone walls around a green oasis. Here, life thrives. Prey is abundant, like nowhere else in Africa. In this paradise, surrounded by cliffs, live the largest and heaviest lions on Earth. The absence of major rivals like hyenas and African wild dogs, along with constant food supply, has allowed generations of these lions to grow without real threats. They eat more, rest more, and grow enormous. In Ngorongoro, strength comes from stability. Size is forged from comfort. Yet, despite their size, these lions are not the most dangerous. In battle, they retreat. They seek to preserve life. But far away from that lush sanctuary, beyond the humid forests and the comfort of Ngorongoro, another bloodline of lions emerged. Smaller, harder, forged in struggle and survival. These are the black-maned lions, living in hostile environments, unlike the crater's protected lands, and they are far deadlier. The body of a black-maned lion is not impressive in size, but in efficiency. No excess fat, no wasted muscle. Every inch of their frame has been shaped by a harsh world and fueled by the high testosterone that turned them into machines of dominance and destruction. They live where rain hesitates to fall, where the heat is merciless and the ground itself is a battlefield. In Kalahari, Ethiopia, and southern Namibia, these are their vast, dry, and deadly kingdoms. It is in this brutal contrast that their deadliest nature thrives. Harsh environments force mastery of adaptation. They have learned to survive for days without water, drawing moisture from the blood of their prey. They form small coalitions or wander alone, ghosts crossing lands under the night's silence like haunting tales of the wild. The cruel climate forged their resilience, while hormonal imbalance awakened something even darker, a primal wrath that knows no mercy. These lions have something others lack, a lust for battle. Some develop what experts call extreme territorial dominance behavior. It means they don't just defend their territory, they seek out fights. One herd to conquer is not enough. They cannot adapt to peace or the stability a pride offers. In fact, peace bores them. A long, calm life disturbs them. They are lions addicted to war, addicted to the smell of blood from rival males, to the clash of jaws, to that exact moment when an enemy collapses and victory is born. Records exist of black-maned lions abandoning stable prides and fertile females to return to nomadic life, simply because they could not stand the absence of conflict. They don't feel alive in quiet times. They need chaos, confrontation, and war. And within that destructive urge to fight lies their greatest danger, because a predator that hunts to eat can be avoided, but a warrior that fights for pleasure, that one is unpredictable. Among the many stories of lions that transcended natural behavior to become legends, one name stands above all: Mr. T, the Devil. Experts in feline behavior, who spent decades studying alliances and social structures among African lions, often cite Mr. T as an extraordinary example, not just for his unmatched ferocity, but for the way he lived, as if his only purpose was war. For many, he was not just a dominant lion, he was addicted to conflict, a true embodiment of the Mana Negra spirit. Mr. T was born in 2001 in Sabi Sand Reserve, within the Sparta Airfield Pride. From a young age, he showed unusual strength and aggression, restless behavior, constant confrontations, and an early instinct for hunting. By 2006, when he joined his blood brothers, they formed the legendary Mapogo Coalition. Yet even among these giants, Mr. T was not content with equality. He wanted more: leadership, dominance, and to be first in everything. Leadership, however, went to Makulu, the larger, more imposing lion. This angered and frustrated Mr. T. He couldn't control himself and seized every chance to fight Makulu, competing for dominance until the coalition eventually fractured, leaving behind ruins and legend. Experts believe Mr. T not only carried the genetic legacy of the Mana Negra, but also displayed it in his mane. Unfortunately, they could never confirm the theory, as he fought so many battles that his mane was constantly torn, making verification impossible. Thus, this lion became the perfect embodiment of the black mane, even without wearing its full cloak. Today, across a continent teeming with wildlife, only a few black-maned lions still roam free. It's estimated that fewer than 1,000 lions with dark manes of varying shades remain in Africa, with only about 50 individuals considered true Mana Negra, those whose manes are completely black across the back. Even among them, the rarest are those whose heads and shoulders are cloaked entirely in black. Lions whose appearance, to local people, is a warning of impending tragedy. These lions are not an officially recognized subspecies, but a rare expression of genetic, environmental, and hormonal factors that transform them into the most dangerous predators on the continent. You won't find them in captivity. They do not tolerate fences. To see them, one must venture to the edges of the wild and observe carefully. One of the most symbolic places to witness these silent beasts is the Kalahari Desert, particularly in the Galagadi Transfrontier Park, stretching between Botswana and South Africa. There, among golden dunes and solitary trees, these lions patrol vast, empty lands like ancient spirits. Another site is Ethiopia, around Alatash National Park, where a small group of dark-maned lions was rediscovered in 2016, reigniting hope for their preservation. There are also remarkable sightings in Namibia's Namib Desert and isolated parts of Zimbabwe. But the truth is harsh. Their habitats are shrinking, and every sighting is a living relic of an Africa that refuses to fade. To see a Mana Negra lion in the wild is both a privilege and a warning. For wherever it appears, the hierarchy changes. It does not ask for a place. It takes it. It does not demand silence. It enforces it. That is why, even today, among the world's greatest lions, the record holders of size and strength, the black-maned lions remain the most feared and most respected of all, for they will always and forever be the most dangerous. In the heart of the Masai Mara Reserve, the largest expanse stretching across 1,672 square kilometers in southwest Kenya, near the border with Tanzania, life in the wild takes on a unique character. It is a pristine wilderness that transports humans back to prehistoric times, allowing them to witness the law of the jungle that governs life among all animals. This Masai Mara Reserve, located north of the vast East African plains, welcomes nearly 1 million herbivores each year, including wildebeests, zebras, and antelopes between July and October. This migration coincides with the transition between the dry and rainy seasons. During this time, carnivores like lions and leopards enjoy abundant food and see their cubs thrive. The breeze of the air, the calmness of nature mixed with the sounds of birds and animals, all empower the sense of the place. Especially when stopping to observe the lions, those predators that dominate the land, sitting atop the throne of strength and influence. Various coalitions compete fiercely to expand their control and secure the best territories and resources. These coalitions draw many wildlife enthusiasts, eager to follow their paths and capture unforgettable memories. Among the most famous are the prides with long histories of ruling vast areas, building strong kingdoms, and spreading their lineage across the reserve. One such coalition was the Four Musketeers, ruled with strength and intelligence by the famous lion Scarface, beloved by photographers and visitors alike, whose death broke the hearts of many. But today's story is not about Scar. It is about a lion who chose to remain in the shadows, a steadfast brother, and the strong hand that struck down intruders. That lion is the mighty Sikio. Born in 2008 alongside his brothers Scarface, Morani, and Hunter, Sikio's story is one of power and resilience. It is believed that Sikio descended from the mighty Cheza, carrying his genes in both appearance and strength. He was a model of the ideal male lion, with his massive mane and fierce eyes. Sikio could be recognized by a distinct scar on the bridge of his nose, just below his eyes. In 2012, at around 4 years old, Sikio and his brothers overcame the Marsh Pride Coalition, securing control. Together, they expanded further, conquering the Paradise Pride, the Rekaro Breakaway Pride, and the Lookout Pride. Sikio was the coalition's dominant lion. While courting lionesses, he responded to any move from other males with terrifying roars, making it clear they were not welcome. He always stayed close to the lionesses in the prides he ruled, prioritizing meals and mating above all else, unlike Hunter, who often avoided lionesses, especially those with cubs. Sikio fought savagely alongside his brothers to expand their territory, hunt prey, and claim dominance, always the first to confront rival males. Often, he appeared slimmer due to long nights spent patrolling the territory or frequent mating. He was considered one of the boldest lions in the reserve, admired for his striking appearance, unusual determination, and unmatched courage. His efforts were a decisive factor in the coalition's success. Sikio left a significant mark on the pride, fathering many cubs. Thanks to his careful watch over the young, many survived to adulthood. After Hunter's disappearance in August 2019, Sikio, Morani, and Scar maintained control of their territories and pride along both sides of the Masai Mara River for some time. Peace reigned with no immediate threats. Then, in March 2020, Sikio was found with a deep wound on his forehead, caused by the horn of a buffalo. This incident reflected the dangers of hunting large prey, especially the aggressive African buffalo, known for its fierce defense. Sikio did not recover from this injury until September 2020, but that was not his only challenge. Between March and September, he suffered more wounds, including serious injuries in August. His once magnificent mane was reduced, and his imposing presence began to fade. By September 2020, Sikio seemed on his way to full recovery. But fate struck again. In October, he sustained another severe injury from a rival male lion whose identity remains unknown. While his wounds healed, his body began to weaken with age. By December 2020, Sikio looked skeletal, unable to fight for food or defend himself. He often lagged behind Scar and Morani, his coalition partners. In 2021, Sikio was never seen again. His absence confirmed the fears of many, and social media erupted with sorrow over his likely death. Tributes poured in from across the world as admirers mourned the loss of this magnificent lion. Many described the emptiness he left behind with words like, "Rest in peace, Sikio. You may be gone, but you will never be forgotten."